Salams and welcome. Let me know your thoughts. We as the world have been noticing in the past few years two major wars going on. One is Russia Ukraine, and then the war in Gaza, right? Israel and Hamas or the Palestinians. And we all pray for peace. I'm always for peace. I always believe the pen is more mightier than the sword, right? We will always do negotiations. Now look at the headlines that's just happening today. And I'm happy with this. Donald Trump made a call to Vladimir Putin and they said, okay, let's have peace. This took the European Union by surprise. They got a shock of their life that what is happening. Donald Trump and Putin are now becoming BFF, best friends. So what's going to happen with all the sanctions, all of that? So Europe has been caught in a state of shock. So now listen to this, and I'm going to ask you to compare what is happening with regard to Ukraine and what has happened in the Middle East, because now we're seeing what is happening in Europe and what's happening in the Middle East, and we need to see what we can do to learn from each other. So let's see. The headline says that Europe has been caught out by Trump's Russia's move. Arriving at NATO headquarters early on Thursday, that means today, Europe's defense ministers had one common message: that there can be no negotiations about Ukraine without Ukraine and Europe at the table. So now the European nations are saying, hang on. Trump and Russia are talking about peace in Ukraine, but they said this is not allowed. Yes, we are happy that Trump is there, Putin is there, but we also want Ukraine around the table, and we also want the entire European nations around the table. And I say, well done, I agree with that. But why couldn't they do the same thing for Gaza? Why didn't America say, okay, America, the Middle East, all the Arab nations, all the Muslim nations, all get together and let's have a common round table discussion. So if they are willing to do this in Ukraine, why don't they do this for the Middle East? But in the Middle East, what happens? Trump says, oh, okay, Gaza, it's mine, I'm taking it over. Why didn't Trump say, Ukraine, okay, I'm taking Ukraine over? Why doesn't he want to grab Ukraine? Doesn't he say, okay, there's warfare in Ukraine, people have been dying, let's end the warfare. Ukraine got nice real estate property. But Trump doesn't say, I'm going to take, America must take over Ukraine in the same way that he's saying America must take over Gaza. He said, no, let's sit around the table like gentlemen and let's talk about a solution. And I agree with that. So after a frantic 24 hours of US declarations, there is a tangible sense that Europe's leaders have been caught by surprise. They did not know what is going on. Germany's foreign minister Annalena Baerbock spoke of Donald Trump's call with Vladimir Putin as being out of the blue. They said, we've been caught by surprise. We are in a state of shock. And the UK's John Healey says, there can be no negotiation about Ukraine without Ukraine. Dutch Defense Secretary Ruben Brekelmans says, the same is true for Europe. We want the whole European Union to be there. Because, of course, what is negotiated also has implications for Europe. But what about Gaza? It's got implications for the whole of the Middle East. Then Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said, all we need is peace, a just peace. Ukraine, Europe, and the United States should work on this together, all together. So I say, yes, well done. So what they're saying, Europe, Ukraine, United Nations must all work together for peace in Ukraine and then rebuilding of Ukraine. So I say, what about the Middle East? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Stay well, look after yourself. Are there double standards going on here? Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah.